and we painted it, and we replaced the heater core inside here, and we fixed the fan. Fan wasn't working on this thing, so we got that done. Slowly but surely we're working our way around. You know, on both sides I repaired the outer cowls, and now I'm going to be repairing the inner cowls. Actually, I've got the floorboard. I'm working on that now. As you can see, I've cut the floorboard at the let's take a good look around here. As you can see, what I did, okay, is cut out the old floorboard. Now you'll see what I did. Essentially, I've cut down the, this is the rocker panel, the inner rocker panel. I've cut the rocker panel, all the floorboard that goes over top of that. And this is a piece that I put in. What I noticed, this is your brace, okay, of the car. And I noticed right here is a bushing underneath, a rubber bushing. It's okay, but it was very soft, and some of the bushing was actually popping through the brace. So it's obviously had rusted down there. So I took some 16 gauge metal, and I've made this conglomeration, this little patch in here. I still have to trim it up up here, you know, because it's actually sticking out. But anyway, now, and then I drilled the holes, and what I'll do is I'll weld all these holes. I have to cut this a little bit more because this is a weld, because this is an optional location for a body mount with a bolt that comes from underneath the frame. On the A bodies, all it has is a rubber bushing here. It doesn't have a bolt. But I still am going to weld all this up so that if somebody ever wanted to put a body bushing and bolt it, they could. It'll be strong. Another thing is, when I built the outside of the, I showed you I had to rebuild the cowl. What I did was I created, this is a patch panel. I have not welded it in yet, but there's a hole inside here, and before I weld the floor down, because I can't have access, I'm not doing a frame off restoration, but that's really the only place where I have damage on the inside of the rocker, the inside rocker panel. So what I'm going to do is I made this is 16 gauge steel. It will be welded to the inner rocker, and will actually make the inner rocker stronger than it was before, and it'll seal up any holes. Of course, that's just a component that goes up the firewall. The floorboard bolts to that, or I mean welds to that. So I mean, it's all in all, I think, you know, it'll be coming along. You'll see today I'll have this done. And another thing I've been doing since I did a little painting. I painted the firewall. I painted, you know, the 12 bolt rear, cleaned and painted that, and I got the painted the it's kind of hard to see, but that is the radiator support bar. It's all nice and clean and sanded and painted. Took off that back. This was a Corvette LS1, so I took off the bat wing oil pan and put a truck oil pan on it. I'm not crazy about that because from what I understand, it may sit 1/4 of an inch below the front cross member. I don't know yet. Don't know till I set the motor into the car. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, this is a learning curve for me. I've never done an LS1 installation, you know, and that's where I'm at. It's been a long journey, and I've got a lot more work to do. I mean, I've never done this before. I'm learning one step at. Oh, I've done restorations, but I've never done anything like this. So one step at a time, and we'll see how things go. And it was good talking to you. I can't get a good picture of me. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when when we get the floorboard welded. I'll turn you back on then. Thank you. Okay, well, thought I'd bring you guys back a little bit, give you a shot of what I've done on this floorboard. I've, as you can see here, I peeled back the outer rocker. I welded the floor to the inner rocker panel, grinded it, put it back. It's very solid. In the process, I've actually hammered down the floorboard. It usually has a little bit more of a rise here, but I was able to get more meat on the inner rocker panel by knocking it down. And it'll look fine when it's done. But as you can see, I've got a couple of spots, little hollow spots there that need to be addressed. But that's all sanded and grinded right there. I got a little bit of a notch right there that has to be done. A little hole there. This had a flange on this side. So I've cut the flange, and the flange is sitting underneath the adjoining floorboard. And this is actually what you would call it's butt joint. I got to trim a little bit more in here, but that's okay. It's actually very close. Once I weld it, she'll be tight. I reinforced the brace underneath because there was a little soft spot there. Cut it out, and I put some 16 gauge steel in it, and it's solid. This has to be cut out right here, and in the process I'll piece this in. It's really not going to be a problem. Haven't gotten to the back yet. I'm not even going to bother with it for the moment. I'm going to Carlisle, and I'll pick up another little panel for underneath the seat itself. But as you can see, I'm coming along on this floorboard. Floorboards are difficult, you know. They're never going to look perfect, not unless you putty the hell out of them, and I don't believe in a lot of putty. That is overlaid over top of it, but it's only like a 1/16 of an inch. I'll show you on the other side. As I left you the last time, I had that puke yellow, and it's all painted now, nice and with black paint. I rebuilt the heater compartment. You know, put new foam inside the doors, painted everything inside, put a new heater core, haven't installed it yet. I put an aluminum heating core because I'm going to have an LS1 motor, and I don't want any conflicting metals. It'll all be aluminum heater core, aluminum radiator, aluminum motor. Shouldn't have a problem there. And if you take a look at the weld, this is the back side of the weld from the floor. Very good penetration, as you can see. And I will grind that, and once it's grinded, you hardly will tell that it's been repaired. Those screws will come out. That's where the lip is, the flange lip is. All that, it'll come out looking real nice when I'm done. I wish I had that rotisserie. It would make it even nicer. But she's coming along, little by little. Everything I've done seems to be okay. The roof is solid. If you remember correctly, the last time I saw it, there were holes around this window. And let's see if I can get this thing. We fixed those holes. Welded them, fixed them. And you can see dirt. There's dirt on it now. I'm working outside, but it will be, when it's finished, it'll be real nice. And I'll bring you back little by little. I'll show you again when I'm finished this floor. When I'm finished welding this section here. Let's see if I can quote. When I'm finished welding this section right here, then I'll bring you back and I'll weld that seam up there and grind it. That's the key. It's the grinding. Anyone who's ever done this before knows that that's the fun part. You get metal dust all over you. I mean, as you can see right here, it's just dust, metal dust that comes everywhere. But you know what? That's all part of the hobby. You got to do what you got to do. Anyway, I'll bring it back later. Thank you. See if I can turn this thing on now.